actually going to do a podcast episode, but we couldn't actually get the what's it called, the audio to function with us. I mean, we've been having issues with it all day. So, because I know people love the last episode of the podcast, which did amazing. People had great questions, great feedback. I think the only feedback we had was the audio, but at the end of the day, what can you do? Like, we live in two different states.
Yeah, honestly, and it was my first time filming a podcast episode with, like, not in person. So I didn't realize that FaceTime would be such an issue or that it would be distorted. And even myself, when I heard some of the clips, I was like, damn, I feel bad. Like, I feel like I could have delivered something better for everyone. But at the same time, learning experience for me, learning experience for you, like, just in general, like, now I know better. I did try to get a mic and it didn't work out either. I tried the AirPods, didn't work out either. But the point is that I did try to at least make the experience, the listening experience a little bit better. And it just didn't work out. So instead of just fully like letting you guys down, I was like, you know what? We could just hop on a live and I can like kind of go from there. Yeah. Rather than like having you guys wait or whatever.
Yeah, because somebody was like, what was the podcast about? I mean, we just basically talked about, first we got to know Jacky, you know, because that was my first time actually talking to her face-to-face, like, well, kind of face-to-face. And then getting to know her story and things like that. So it's also linked in my bio, so if you guys want to check it out, go and check it out. It's still like, I mean, the audio isn't the greatest, but the content that's in there is great, you know, like, just because of the feedback that I got from it. But we tried recording today. Unfortunately, you know, the mics weren't miking. Technology wasn't technologying. So we're going to do a live. And that, at a certain point, it wasn't even working, too. Like, TikTok wasn't working. So.
Yeah. And popular things. I was like, God dang it. Like, I'm done. I'm going to bed. That's it.
I was about to throw... I was about to throw the phone, too. I was like, you know what? Like, we'll just do this some other time because this is not... But, no, yeah, so I actually did a live earlier, right? So I was doing a live. I was like, hey, I'm going to do this. Like, do you guys have any questions for her? And, yes, we do. Hold on. People are saying, I wasn't even reading the chat. It was good regardless. Girl, don't trip. It was still a good episode.
I don't have any questions over here. They just said I fully understood the podcast.
Yeah, see, like, it was great. You know, I think at the end of the day, we're just overthinking it. Next time we do something, of course, we'll try to get the best, you know, experience to everybody. But it was a great episode regardless. But so we're going to get into this one. So one of the questions that we actually had is, do you think, like, well, you know, when you start drinking, you start saying some things. So somebody asked us, like, do you think what people say when they're drunk is the truth at all times? And I said, depends on the person, because like somebody could like get drunk and then just tell you a whole bunch of lies, you know, or at the same time, there are those people who like, as soon as they get drunk, they actually like start talking about their feelings and things like that. So what do you think about that?
Okay. So people were asking me essentially like what my opinion is on like drunk talk and like people talking. Honestly, I think that there has to be some truth to what people say when they're drunk. I don't think that it's necessarily delivered appropriately or maybe in the way that somebody would have wanted to. But I do feel like there's some truth when you're drunk, because I feel like you are able to vocalize some of the things that you don't have the courage for, like that you don't have the courage to do so otherwise. But I will say too, like, because I'm a believer, and I'm not necessarily like the greatest believer or anything like that, or that I like can teach you the way to be Christian or how to love God or anything like that. Like, I'm learning myself. I'm very lukewarm. I'm trying to figure it out. I feel like I also do believe that when you're extremely intoxicated, it's no longer you. It's like demonic type of shit, you know, like it's like serious things that like take over your body, and you're no longer in control of your own body, your own mind, your own words, like your own things. You completely act way out of character. So I feel like there is an in-between in terms of like what is communicated. So I feel like maybe if you're buzzing and you're a little tipsy, that you get a little bit of liquid courage to say like, hey, you know what, I've been feeling X, Y, and Z, you know? But I feel like when you're like when you're inebriated, it's like that's when you're crossing the line into like becoming somebody else that you maybe truly really aren't.
So this is just a question for me. Have you ever sent like some of those risky texts when you were drunk?
I think I have when I was younger. So when I
Yeah.
was younger, definitely guilty as charged. Definitely. When I was younger, I definitely like was not in control of like once I passed a certain point of alcohol, like I was not in control of those texts, and it would just be like whatever the case may be, like fuck you, or I miss you, or I've been thinking about you, or you know, like I hate you, or whatever. Like definitely. I think at this age though, not even with my kid's dad did I ever, and I went out drinking a lot of partying, a lot of Miami, a lot of Vegas, never once did I message him like, I miss you, come home, love you, or some bullshit like that. Never. Not once, ever. So, but I will say guilty as charged when I was younger, but I feel like my mindset now is so different that when I do drink, I even know, like, okay, water in between an alcoholic beverage, you know? Like, it has a drink, has a water, you know, has a liquid IV, has another drink. Took a shot, can't take a shot for another 30 minutes, you know, like hold on.
Did, did you ever have I don't know why. It always worked for some reason. Like every time I would go out, like and I knew we were gonna drink, 2 glasses of water, 2 ibuprofens, and the next morning I was good. It could have been just like a placebo thing, but it worked every time. Did you ever have like some sort of like I got to do this before I go out because if not I'm gonna be hungover tomorrow?
I do have a routine. So I definitely, before I go out to drink or I know I'm going to go partying, I have a liquid IV. Or if I know like the week of, I'll have a liquid IV during the week. And then I make sure I have something to eat. And usually I take a Tylenol and then I make sure I drink water. And when I get home, a piece of bread, a Tylenol, and then I go to bed. Like I haven't had hangovers in years. Granted, when I was married, I didn't go out a lot, but post my marriage and like being single and like going out with friends and, you know, ex-boyfriends, whatever. I haven't had a hangover since. Like I don't get the depression. I don't get the blues. I don't get like nothing. I'm just all vibes all day, 24/7. So I don't have any problems.
When's the last time you got like, or have you ever gotten blackout drunk?
Actually, fudge. I don't think that I have gotten blackout drunk like many years ago. I think recently I went on like a date. Not it was a bit ago, and we went to a bar, and I do remember having blackout moments. So the next day when I thought about that, I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't had blackout moments since I was way younger. So what the fuck is that about? Because nothing changed, you know, like it was the same consumption, it was the same routine. So why am I having these blackout moments? And that kind of scared me a little bit. So I kind of like took a slow my roll moment, because that was a little scary because I wouldn't want to have blackout moments or not remember things. Like that's one of the worst feelings I think ever, to like wake up and be like, oh wait, what did I say then? Or did I miss that? Like, dude, that is horrible. Like, I don't ever want to feel that. And I did feel that day. And it wasn't necessarily that I blacked out the entire time. I remember dancing. I remember vibing. I remember drinking. I remember this, you know, like, I remember. But then, like, there was, like, flashes that I'm like, what did I say then? Or I don't remember the car ride, you know? Yeah. And like, I don't like that feeling. And normally I don't go out with like people I don't know. Like it's all usually my family and my friends, but obviously this was a date, so obviously that's different. But I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that feeling.
Yeah, and you got to be careful, especially on a date. Like
somebody said, is this a guy a potential future date? I would not have this type of couple with a new dude. No, dude, we're literally having conversation for you guys. Like conversation for you guys.
It's like we're interviewing each other. Like,
yeah, like what? I am a professional, y'all.
No, yeah. I think it would. Girls especially have to take care of themselves because I remember one time, like I was out at a bar and I knew this girl and this guy brought her a drink, and she's like, "Should I take it?" I was like, "Did you watch them make it?" And she's like, "No." I was like, "I wouldn't take it." I was like, "But that's just me." I was like, "If you didn't see them make it and give it to you, and this guy just brought you a drink, that's kind of sketchy to me because like how do you know he didn't put anything in there?" I'm like, "You're a gorgeous woman, like." I'm just saying, like, it's a little harder for girls. That's why I always tell girls to be careful when they're out there like that. And especially, like, if you were having, like, blackout moments, thank God it wasn't, like, a blackout session. It was just, like, moments so you still kind of remember how, like, the night went. Because it could have gone bad.
Yeah, and I do remember, like, I had been talking to him for a bit, and I do remember him saying, like, oh, hopefully I don't ever have to put something in your drink or something like that. And I was like, what?
Oh, sure.
Because I'm not very like I'm not a hookup girl, so that's not my vibe. So like if I'm getting to know you, like that's where it is. Like that's it. Like it's not my vibe to just be like, oh, I slept with him, slept with him, slept with him, slept with him. Like nope. My list of post my kid's father is one person, which was my ex-boyfriend, and that's it. So and that's been in 2 years, so it's not my vibe. So being that that's my like restriction, I was like, that's a little weird that you said that. And then I'm like having these little like blackout moments, and that's strange. But I trusted him enough because, there's an age difference and like he has kids. So to me, it's like, I would never do that to somebody being a mom myself, and like our age group, it's like, that's weird. But he did make that commentary and I was like, it's a little different for somebody to say.
At the end of the day, it's always the people that you
like least expect, right?
Yeah, like, and then you're like, whoa, what the heck? Because I remember some guy actually got caught here doing some similar stuff, and I was like, bro, like, why? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't even. This dude could pull girls. Like, why do you have to do that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why do you have to get like put stuff in girls' drinks and like try to hook up with them? Like, and that's why I mean, like, you never know who it can be. It can be like, dude, that. The quiet guy in the corner, like that just trying to bring you.
Nice or like so protective and stuff like that, like the one that you think you could trust. Well, I mean, like I said, it wasn't like I don't think that he did anything like that because, again, like I said, it wasn't like I was like I don't remember shit. Like how did I, like no, it wasn't nothing like that. It was just like I remember dancing and then like a snippet cut out, but I went to the restroom and like a snippet cut out of like the dancing or like what did I say to you, like the conversation is what I don't fully remember. Like the whole conversation, the entirety of the conversation is what I don't fully remember or something like that, but not to the extreme where I was like, how did you end up here or something like that? Not like that, but still, it's still very like scary. So I definitely haven't had, any blackout moments. I think that I'm pretty like solid in terms of like knowing what my tolerance is, especially at like my age and like what I'm good with, and I have a blast. Like I haven't been the person that's like, oh, I need somebody to take care of me or like watch me. And I'm actually the person that will, tell you, like, if you get too fucked up, like, don't fucking count on me because I'm not taking care of you. Like, you're not. And if I get too fucked up, like, send my ass to the car, or like send to bed. Like, but I'm not the friend that's going to take care of you. I will not. I refuse. I will not. That's not me. And all my friends know that. Like, no, you're not going to ruin my time because you don't know how to handle your shit. Like, that's not my fucking problem. At 30-something years old, like, you should know. You should know better. Unless it's your birthday, that's the only exception. But other than that, no.
What? When it's your birthday, you have your friends like pouring the bottle down. You're like,
exactly. So if it's your birthday, like, yeah, I'm gonna carry you out. I'm gonna help you out. It's your birthday. But like on a normal Tuesday, like, no,
right?
Time.
What about like? All right, what advice would you give a girl like that goes to like? Do you think they should take a drink from somebody that they don't know?
No, don't. And if you didn't watch somebody make it, and I feel like sometimes too, even if you watch them make it, sometimes I feel like there's people that are like regulars at certain places that could be in cahoots with somebody.
Yeah.
you know, or like their homies or something like that, you know. And I think you have to be very careful and protect yourself, because people, although you may not have that character, you may be a good person, or you wouldn't think that. Like, you just never know what somebody's intentions are. And I think that you should really protect yourself from
That's very
people.
true. And that's why I told my friend, I was like, did you watch her, like, watch him make it? And she's like, no. I was like, honestly, I wouldn't take it just because you didn't see, like, what happened. Like, I don't know this dude. Like, you don't know this dude. Like, so you never know what could happen. Like, you're a gorgeous woman. He's a medium ugly. Like, I don't know. Like,
Medium ugly.
I learned that word from you guys. Like, girls say that all the time. Like,
I don't say anything like that, but okay. I'm like, okay, but I've heard it. Yeah.
all right. So another thing that people were asking was like, what are your thoughts on long distance relationships?
Can't do it.
You want to be
Can't
able to do it?
I can't do it, and I'll tell you why. My love language is physical touch, and it's quality time. Those are my top two love languages. I know myself well enough to know that those are the things that my heart desires the most, so that I feel closest to somebody.
Mhm.
And being that those are my two love languages, I would be sacrificing my needs for the sake of keeping a long distance relationship, and that doesn't work for me. So I'm at a stage where I'm not going to sacrifice what my needs are for the sake of maintaining a relationship or trying to figure out where it could go. It just doesn't. And I don't think that it's very real. I think that you have two separate lives, and I think it's more than anything having the comfort of somebody at a distance. So it's like you get the best of both worlds. You get some people who do it. I feel like my opinion is you get the best of both worlds. So you have somebody who is like always there, you know, and you have somebody to talk to. You have somebody that wishes you good morning, tells you you're beautiful, whatever, or vice versa. And then you also have the freedom of knowing that your schedule is free to do the things that you want. Not necessarily that you're going to cheat or anything like that. Just like your week is free. And then when they come, it's like an excitement, you know, it's like a weekend, and it's an excitement, and it's a thrill. It's an adrenaline rush. But relationships can't thrive on adrenaline rushes. Real relationships, real relationships have to thrive in monotony, in the everyday. That's how you know somebody's for you, you know? It's like thriving in the everyday rather than like in the excitement of a weekend once a month.
Yeah, see, and I get where you're coming from too, because it depends on your love languages. But I've always not because I want somebody to be far away. So the reason I like to do long distance is because I mean, you run into the issue like probably in your town too, right? It becomes a small town, right? Like even though it's a big town, it becomes very small because you know the similar people around your same age group, like the same girls, the same guys, and so on and so forth, right? So my biggest issue that I've had here is like exes can't get over exes, right? So like you start talking to this girl, and then all of a sudden like this dude wants to fight you because like, hey yo, like that's my girl, and I'm like, oh, like whatever, bro, like you know, get over your ex. Or like you start talking to somebody else, and then they're like, I thought we were boys, man. Like what happened? Like bro, it's like I don't even know you.
Problems, you mean? Yeah, but you don't have to date somebody like in your well, fuck, you're from fucking Iowa or fucking Idaho, so I'm fucking there. But like, it's that small town vibes. But you could date somebody 30 minutes, an hour away. That's not long distance. That's just more commitment to somebody. Long distance, I'm assuming you're asking like 4 hours, 6 hours. You know, that's a long time, like to be in a car or to take a flight. Like that's long distance. But like out of your city, like you should be able to date somebody an hour away. And I don't think that that's long distance. I think that that's just making an additional commitment in terms of time.
Yeah, see, like me, my previous relationships have been, like I told you before we started doing this, that she was from Texas, you know, so she was from Texas and I'm in Idaho. But another reason why it helped for me was I actually got to know the person, right? Instead of just being like more of like, hey, get to know you a little bit, meet up with you, hook up, and then that's like, you know what I mean? Like there's no real connection there. But like with long distance, it actually helped me like get to know this person, because like if I like them, I have to like get to know them a little bit longer before I can actually be with them, right? And another issue that I ran into before was like I had.
I don't think you can know somebody unless you're in person.
No, so yeah, that makes sense too. But
picture, I talked to a guy once that told me a lot of people can be Picasso, and he's absolutely right. Anybody could paint a pretty picture, especially from a distance. But in person, you actually get to see somebody's true character and what their daily life is like, and if they really honor who they say they are, not only the picture that they paint to you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like maybe you got to know her, but you got to know the pretty picture of her.
Yeah, I can agree with that, because the reason it didn't end up working out was not because, like, she was great, beautiful, don't get me wrong, but she was just super jealous. Like, super jealous. Like, going through my profile and seeing the girls that liked my picture and be like, yo, why'd she like your picture? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, go ask her. And then completely, I was like, all right, I'm done. So there was a girl who liked my picture. She went back through her pictures and found when I commented years ago on her picture, like fire emojis on her picture. And she was like, how do I know you're not still talking to this girl? And I'm like, you know what? Like, this is like, we are done. Like, this is, I can't do this.
Is a big deal. Social media is a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't be leaving no fucking comments, no thirsty shit, not even a basic ass comment on some man shit. I actually see guy shit and I literally don't even look at it. I don't even get a fucking second to fucking play, because I don't give a shit and I don't want to see and I don't care to see. And if I would not even leave a thirsty comment. I leave comments on like shit that's funny or things that are like that, because it's like at the end of the day, it comes back to you. And it's like, if I were to see my man leaving like emojis on a girl that I saw, like, and it was like a long time ago, it still would bother me, because it's like, it's like, why did you do that? Like, because you were trying to get her attention. So if you would have gotten her attention, you would have pursued that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I feel like social media is such a big fucking deal. People try to take it so lightly or say that it ain't shit, but it really means something, because that emoji or that, it's still a catcall in some form, in some way, shape, or form. And I wouldn't want to see like whoever I'm dating have liked all these bitches' pictures or leaving comments, because then I can see that eventually, or it can come back to bite you. And it's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not leaving guys either.
Even before, like you, like
even before, for example, because then I'm gonna see that you were just thirsting behind X, Y, and Z. I don't want to see that. And why? Like, why don't you have the self-control to not thirst after X, Y, and Z?
That's true too, but I don't think it should be like, in my opinion, I don't think it should be bad. Like something that I did years ago, and you're trying to accuse me for it now, right? Like that was a different Edgar. This is like Edgar now, right?
Right.
Because like,
but remember, what you do stays with you. Whatever you do. So people pull up old tweets. Maybe that's not you anymore, but people will still pull them bitches up and use that to define your character now. Yeah. And it's like, I don't want to see that. Like, I don't want to see that you like this girl and then I'm like, okay, but she looks so different than me, or she's not like me. So like, what was your interest there or whatever? And it fucks with our head. And I will say the same for men. I know that it has to fuck with your head if you saw your girl in somebody's likes comments years ago, because then you're like, okay, well, what did he have, or why were you thirsting after him? If he would have responded to you, what would have been the potential there? It leaves questions, and there's no necessity in doing that. I kid you not. I see guys shit, skip, pass.
Yeah.
Don't comment. I'll get something funny or whatever, like that I might leave a comment, or I'll be like dead as fuck or something like that, or like ha 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 emojis. Other than that, I don't give a shit. If they respond to my comment, like I'm not gonna acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Like I don't acknowledge any men's comments in any, whether it's my DM or in my DMs, in my like comment boxes. If you go through all my comments, unless I know you, or like if I've had a conversation with you or whatever, I will not respond to any men. I skip all of them.
Yeah, see, like on the whole, like I think it also comes down, like, because I know how you said like some men, right, will look back. but I think it totally depends on the guy, because me, I don't give a shit like who you like. You know what I mean? Like we can go. I wouldn't put myself through that, like going back and like seeing all these guys you liked and like why did you like it? You know what I mean? Like I think it depends on the person. Like someone who's maybe a little bit more insecure.
You mean like hunting, like going and try to see like, did you like this person? When did you respond to this person? Like that vibe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do that. I ain't got time to.
No, yeah, that's what she did. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, okay.
To me, like she went to a comment years ago. Like that's why I said like you can't like you can't be hunting for stuff, because like the more you look, you're gonna find something. You know, you're gonna find something. Did she what?
Did she have a job?
She had her own.
I'm not gonna go looking. Like I'm just not. I can't. See,
like she had her own business. She had everything going for her. Like she was gorgeous. Like she had absolutely no reason to be like insecure or jealous, right? But then I got told from other people, like usually they're the ones who are super insecure, just because like it's sometimes the really pretty ones that get insecure about themselves. But that's why I ended up ending that, because like I would take pictures of a girl and all of a sudden like, are you hooking up with her? I was like, girl, she's a senior in high school. Like, chill out. Like, no, you know, like, I was like, this is what I do. You know, I have a media company, so I have to take pictures of seniors, stuff like that. I was like, you don't say nothing when I work with like corporate companies, you know, like she don't say nothing about those. I was like, but there's a bunch of women that work there, you know, so.
Just an insecurity from being long distance. Hey, somebody has a question for you, I think. It says, in a man's perspective, how would you feel if the girl you're talking to tells you that she's talking to other men, not just to you?
So it depends. Like, to me, this is why I say that I'm in a little different mindset than most people. Most guys would get jealous, upset, be like, yo, cut that guy off, like, or cut them off, or like, I thought we were being serious. Me, say I start talking to this girl, right?
Uh-huh.
For me to assume that she's not talking to anybody, I'm stupid, right? Like come on. Like she's probably talking to a few guys because she's single, I'm single. So I expect the same from me. Like if we go on a date, don't think that I'm just gonna, all right, you're the first person I dated, I'm gonna cut everybody off. Like you're the one, you know? This is why I tell people, like, this is why it's dating. Like if she's talking to somebody else, cool. Cause like, what happens if this doesn't work out? Move on to the next girl, you know, like we didn't vibe. Don't lose your guys, you know what I mean? Like, so me, it's not an issue. If she would be like, hey, like, just so you know, like, I'm still talking to other guys, I'd be like, all right, cool. Like, if I really vibe with you, guess what? They're going to be gone in a few weeks because I know how I am. I was like, I'm going to win you over.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I guess, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I would have to agree too. Like, as long as you're honest, I feel like honesty is the best policy. I feel like, especially now, or maybe in the newer generations, a lot of people are afraid to be honest about like what they want, or like if they're talking to other people. And I think that that's where people end up getting hurt, because some people are like, wait a minute, I thought you were just talking to me. And then they're like, oh, but I wasn't. Yeah, but it's like, you never told me that you were like openly dating other people. And it's like, you gave me this other impression. So I think just being clear, and I think that her name was Angie. I think that you're doing the right thing by telling people that you're talking to, like, hey, you know, I'm dating other people. I'm just kind of seeing what I like, what I don't like.
Yeah,
so you know?
And they should know too, because like, I'm pretty sure like that, say I ask, let's say there's this girl named Jessica right here, right? I ask her out. For me to assume that she's not talking to anybody else is dumb of me. You know what I mean? Like that's just like very, you know, like not open-minded. Of course she's beautiful. I'm sure she has other guys. I'm glad she gave me the opportunity to take her out. But again, this is why I said like your mindset changes over time. 20-year-old Edgar probably would have been pissed. You know, probably been like, what the fuck? Like, why are you talking to other girls? Me, more mature Edgar, I'm just like, yeah, like I know how it is. Like I'm talking to other girls too. You're talking to other guys too. Let's see how we vibe. If we vibe good, cool. Then it's me and you. Like they get cut off, and then like we go from there. But to assume, like if you would tell me the same thing, hey, I'm just dating around, cool. Like that's cool. Thanks for being straight up. It's when you said like when they don't say anything. So like say you go on a date, and all of a sudden maybe the next week they see you out with somebody else, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like what happened here?
Yes. I think it's really important to say, especially if you, maybe not after the first date, but maybe after like the second or third, to be clear, like, hey, just to be clear, like, I am still seeing other people. Like, I'm trying to see what I like, what I vibe with. And like, I just want to be clear. You know, I think I don't think it's necessary maybe after the first date, but after the second or third, when you see that somebody's like trying to take you out multiple times, I think it would be important to say, hey, just so we're on the same page, like, I want you to know that I'm still open to dating other people, and allow other people to make the decision if that's okay with them. Yeah. Like, if they feel okay with that, you know, by being honest, because I would want the same honesty in return. Allow me to make the decision if I am okay with you seeing other people, or I really liked you and I'm like, fuck, I'm not okay with that. Like, I really just wanted to date you, you know? Like, allow people to make that decision and give people the safe space to do that.
And like you said, like, if a girl told me that and I was like really into her, especially like, say you go on a first date, I'd be like, all right, cool. Like, what do I got to do to make sure she mine? You know, like, what do I got to do to win her over? Not be like, oh, she's talking to multiple guys, you know, screw this. You know what I mean? Like, if you're really vibing with the person, just you have to show that, and that's what a lot of guys lack now, is like showing in details. That's how, like, I get all these questions. Who's like, what if he, like, we went on a date and he doesn't message me anymore? He's not interested. Like, honestly, like, if his communication changed right after, he wasn't interested. Like, it's so much easier to for us to be like, you know what, I really didn't like her. I'm just gonna not talk to her anymore. You know, it's so much easier to do that. It's so much harder to be like, hey, you know what? Like, I wasn't really feeling it. Maybe we shouldn't do this. We can be friends. You're super cool and things like that's an awkward conversation no guy wants to have, you know? So we'd rather just be like, I'll just leave, you know? Like, I'll just ghost her.
You mean ghosting, essentially.
Yeah. And that's why a lot.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that's why, like, a lot of these ladies ask why they get ghosted. They get ghosted because most guys, are afraid to have that awkward conversation with you. Like, they don't want to have that awkward conversation saying, like, I really don't like you, because then sometimes we'll get the question back, like, well, what isn't that you don't like about me? It's just, like, not really feeling it. We don't know how to explain it. It's a lot harder. So we're just like, you know what? Like, I'm not really feeling her. I'm just going to cut her off. It's a lot easier. I don't have to see her. I don't have to talk to her anymore. Like, if you just cut her off, then that's it. Especially after hooking up with them too. Like, a lot of these girls, oh, everything was going great. He was messaging me. He was talking to me. We went on a first date. We hooked up. What was that?
Post-nut clarity.
Yeah, and then we hooked up, and then all of a sudden, right after, one-word responses. Doesn't message me back. Takes forever to message back. I was like, girl, he's basically answering you, like, with those messages. Like, he's telling you, hey, I'm not really that interested. He's not going to tell you, be like, yo, you know what? Someone who's more mature will. But somebody who's not mature just doesn't want to have that conversation. They'll be like, I'm just going to stop messaging them, because then it's a lot easier to do that than to have that conversation.
I think that men speak with their actions more than they speak with their words. And I think absolutely. That if we're a lot smarter and we were more receptive to their language, we would save ourselves like a lot of problems too, you know? But I also think that part of it is the responsibility of us to be upfront. Like, I'm very clear, like, about my boundaries. I'm very clear, like, hey, I'm super comfortable with saying, hey, like, do you see potential in this? Because I need to know if I should be dating other people or if X, Y, and Z or whatever. Like, I'm just very clear. Like, I don't like blurred. I don't like gray areas. So I'm going to ask you straight up. And I know a lot of girls are scared to ask because they're scared of like the response, but it's like, don't be scared of the response, because the response is what's going to tell you exactly what you need to do. Whether if like you're really vibing with somebody, and then you could say, like, if they respond to you and say, hey, well, you know what, like, I'm just trying to see what my options are, then take that as like a win for you, instead of waiting 2 months and trying to figure out if he's trying to see what his options are, or if you're his only option, you know? Like, just ask. Because they'll tell you if you ask. A guy will tell you if you ask. They'll tell you. But if anything, if you're scared to ask, just watch his actions. His actions will speak louder than his words.
Yeah, exactly. So I always like tell people to like me. People ask like, "Oh, what are some of the things that you ask on a first date?" And I was like, "Shit, I want to know where their mindset is at." I ask them like, "What's your 3-year plan? Like, what's your 5-year plan? Like, what do you like? Where do you work? Is that what you see yourself doing long term?" I was like, because then if they can answer those questions, they're a little bit more mature. Like in their head, they know what they want. Especially that's a big thing for me, like knowing what you want. I remember I went on a date and I asked the girl, I was like, "Oh, so what do you plan on doing like 3 years?" She's like, "I don't know." I was like, "Really? You don't know what you want to do?" And she's like, "No." So no 5-year plan? She's like, "Oh, I don't know." I was like, "All right, cool. Like, enjoy your meal." I was like, then after this, I'm out because like this is definitely not gonna work. Because I'm not afraid to.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to like ask these questions because at the end of the day, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste her time if I know this is somebody that I'm not gonna be like have a future with.
Yeah, I feel it. And on the other end, if somebody were to sit down with me and have the conversation or have the questions that you asked and ask those to me, like on a first date, for me, those questions are an automatic cancellation of I'm not going to waste your time. Because to me, for what I'm looking for, especially being so adamant in who I am and what I want for myself, I don't see myself being with somebody who is asking me what my plans are, what my goals are, what my this, what my that is. My main focus is to find somebody who says, I don't care what you do. I want to take care of you. I don't give a shit where you work, what you do, how much you make. And so and that's why it's very important to analyze the way that people speak from the jump, because you know in your heart of hearts what you want. I don't care what says, like, you know in your heart of hearts what you want, what serves you, what you want in a relationship, what you're looking for. And sometimes because we're so attracted to somebody, we want to romanticize what they say or who they are, or we want to adjust to like, okay, well, yeah, he did ask me these questions, but I'm really attracted to him, or whatever, and like we want to romanticize that and be like, oh, okay, well, it's fine because this. But to me, at least, like, let's say if it was this scenario, if that was me or I was encountering somebody who was asking me these questions, that already tells me like you're looking to build with somebody, you're looking for somebody that could be your partner to grow some type of empire or whatever. And that's not what I'm looking for. I don't want to grow with nobody. Like, I want to be provided for. I want to be princess life, period. So that means that I would have to make that decision off the bat, off the conversation, and be smart and listen to what it is that you're telling me, because you're asking me these questions for a reason, because that's what you're looking for. And it doesn't fit what I'm looking for. So if we were smarter in paying attention to like these initial cues and these initial questions, then we can make better decisions for ourselves. Like, stop making excuses. You know exactly what you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and people need to stop, like, exactly, they adjust themselves. So I remember, it's funny that you bring that up. So at one point, I thought I was asking for too much, right? Like, what I wanted. So I was like, maybe I'm asking for too much. So I started dating this girl who was, like, not even close to what I wanted, right? Mm-hmm. Didn't want to do anything, like, and I'm just, like, not happy in this relationship, right? Like, she didn't want to do anything. She wasn't motivated to do anything. And I was like, this shit's not even working. You know what I mean? Like, me adjusting or like kind of changing what I want just because, yeah, she was hot, but she wasn't like fulfilling me, meaning like didn't like to do similar things that I like to do. Like, I like to go, like, I'm a goofball. Like, if we go to a concert and stuff, my ass is dancing around, having fun, like having a great time. I remember when we went to a concert, she was just like looking at me kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm just like, I'm having some fun. Like, we got, Chris Brown on the stage, like, come on, like, dancing, having fun. And she was just like, the fuck, like, chill out, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I know when to be serious. Like, I have my serious, like, professional Edgar. Like, I know when that is. I was like, at a concert, I was like, we're here to have fun, have some drinks, fun, dance. And she was just more just like, we're supposed to stand here and just like watch the concert. Like, I was like, nah, I'm good,
Yeah, like, it didn't work for you. And I think that just were to observe the way that people ask or the way that people behave, you can have the discernment. Because I feel like everybody in their heart of hearts knows exactly what they want out of a person. and what type of life they want for themselves. I feel like everybody knows, especially like as you get older, you really, really have that defined. And I feel like we start to skew that because we're like, damn, well, will I ever meet that person? And then we start to romanticize the wrong person for us. Like that's really what we wanted. And then we end up stuck in these situations, and then you end up in resentment and like all these things. And it's like you already knew from the beginning that by the way that they moved or the way that they spoke or the things that they said that they weren't for you, but you romanticized it. And now you're 2 years in and you're like, fuck, what did I do? You know, like, dang it, fudge it up.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. So that's why I always tell people, like, because I like to also know, I don't mind dating girls that have kids, you know, at all. I love kids. But the biggest thing for me is, like, I need to know what your relationship is with your baby daddy and with your ex. Because, like we mentioned before on the podcast, I don't believe a girl can be a friend with their ex. Unless it's their baby daddy, I understand you have to co-parent. Totally get that. Yeah. So I totally get that. But you being friends with an ex, I was like, no. Like, for me, like, if you want to be with me, that ain't going to happen, like, at all. You know, because I'm not friends with my exes. As soon as we break up, block, on to the next. You know what I mean? Get rid of the stuff. I told you, I get rid of all their stuff and then on to the next. Because I don't want this next girl that I'm talking to be like, why are you friends with your ex? Why do you still have those shoes your ex gave you? Like, why do you have that your ex, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I'm done. I'm out. Like, on to the next. Like, it didn't work out. Wish it were worked out, but no. So I move on to the ex or to the next one. So do you, like, what kind of, like, what, if a guy, I know what you said on the podcast, like, but
if a guy had kids, you mean? Like, what would I be okay with?
Yeah, what would you be okay with? And would you be okay with them being friends with their ex? No kids, too.
Okay, well, realistically, like, if a man has kids, and which is probably more realistic, especially for me, like, in terms of dating, it's more realistic for my age range for a man to have kids and have, like, a co-parenting relationship with their ex. I would want to know, I think, first and foremost, what was the reason for their split? I don't need to know, like, all of the details, but I want to know, like, what was the reason for their split? Because if it was just, say, like, they could say, like, oh, we grew apart. Okay, well, if they were married, like, God ordained for your marriage to be together unless there was some form of betrayal or something like that, you know? So that would be a little scary for me. Like, okay, yeah, you grew apart, but if one of you is praying for the marriage to come back together, then it's like God would want that marriage and that home to be together. So that's scary for me. Like, I wouldn't want to be in the middle of that unless there was like a betrayal, you know, or something like that, like an affair or something like that. And I don't think that there should be a reason for co-parents to have a relationship. I wouldn't be okay with, like, them going on vacation together for the kids or, like, having dinners together for the kids. Like, no. Unless it's like a graduation or a birthday and the kids want, like, both parents together. Like, yeah. You know, but
invite me to that too. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And maybe if the kids are not comfortable, then okay, I respect that because the kids are not comfortable. But other than that, like, other than a birthday or graduation, there's no reason for you guys to spend Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, like, none of that together. Like, I'm not okay with that. There's no reason to have that type of relationship. And there's no reason for you guys to be texting every day. Like, what do you guys need to talk about every day? Yeah. Like, it makes no sense. And that's why, again, too, I wouldn't want to date somebody who has, like, a 1-year-old kid, because there's a lot to communicate about a 1-year-old kid, you know, like, the baby needs diapers, the baby is sick, you know, babies are so sensitive and delicate that it's like a little bit like there has to be some form of communication for the baby. But other than that, like,
yeah, see, and those are pretty close to, like, what I expect. Like, if it's not, like, exactly, you shouldn't be spending holidays with this person. You know, you shouldn't be, like, one holiday you get them, one holiday they get them, you know, and, like, switch back and forth. I was like, if it's a parent-teacher conference, cool, I understand. Go do your mom and dad duties. Like, I get it. I understand all that stuff. But it's all these other little things that I don't agree with. You know what I mean? Like you said earlier, why is he messaging all the time? Like, why does he need, like, how are the kids? Great, cool. That's it. That's where it needs to end. Like, they're doing great, you know?
No, but actually in court, like at least in California court, they consider you a mentally unstable parent if you cannot be away from your child while they're in the other person's care. Like, you shouldn't have to talk to your kids. You shouldn't have to ask how they're doing. You should accept that they're with the other parent and the other parent is caring for them if they're an adequate parent, not if they're a drunk and alcoholic or something like that. So you shouldn't even be texting the other parent.
Yeah.
No, let the other parent be. So there's no reason for communication. I just don't, whether you have a good co-parenting relationship or you don't, like, there's just no reason for any communication whatsoever, unless it's a graduation, the kid is sick, a birthday, that's it. And even then it's like, I'm not hanging out with you for my kid's birthday. Like, you do your thing with your family for my kid's birthday, and I'll do my thing with my kid for my kid's birthday.
Yeah.
And like, let them have 2 birthdays. Like, let them have 2 fucking awesome birthdays. Like, that's dope. But whatever. You know, so it's weird to me. I wouldn't be okay with it.
Yeah.
I
had another question on here. I don't know how I would take it, because there's certain questions I can't answer because I haven't experienced it. Like, for example, I don't have kids. So for you, would it be cool for, like, say you're still super cool with the dad's family? Like, is that okay? Like, say you're like whoever you're dating now, say he's really good friends with the family of the guy you're, like, is that okay for you?
No. Like, if they're cool with the ex, pretty much.
Yeah. Say you're dating Tom, and Tom's ex, like, you're really cool with Tom's ex's family. Like, is that cool for him still to go over and hang out with them and talk to them? And
no.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
No, it's not. Like, in my marriage, for several years, I didn't go to my husband's, at the time's, family's home, because they maintained a relationship with his ex for so many years, and she would be at like family parties and things like that. And I'm like, why would I go around that when they don't even respect or honor our relationship? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And that was a huge problem, because there's no respect. So it's like, I'm not okay with that. Like, I would never be okay with that.
And it just makes it awkward.
No boundaries. And aside from that, like, these people had intimacy. They shared like intimacy. And it's like, now we have a family. Like, where is the boundary? Where is the respect? There's none.
True. Very true. So I want to go on to this other question. So
somebody said boyfriend's mama does that shit.
Does he?
Yeah, people are saying that. Like, people's comments, people be mad, dude. This is a sensitive topic.
Oh, it's a very sensitive topic. That's why I was like trying to, like, because we had some people fighting on here just a second ago. So do guys that try to message you, take you on a date, do they ever get intimidated by, like, as soon as you start telling them like the things that you're doing? Because some guys get intimidated by a successful, independent woman.
This is a really incredible question, actually. Hold on. So you wouldn't be okay if both you and your ex were in another relationship and all hung out? No, I wouldn't. I'm not hanging out. Yeah, hanging out with them. Like, what are we supposed to be, like the fucking Brady Bunch? Like, what the fuck? No.
What do we live in, Alabama?
Like, we're not going to fucking tacos. Like, what the fuck? No. Oh, no. Anyways, I feel like great question. So, okay, hold on. Repeat the question.
Do any of the guys that try to at least like message you or take you on dates or have taken you on dates, do they get intimidated by after you start telling them what you do and like how big you've grown?
Okay. So I have made a decision to not date anybody that is on social media at all, because I don't want, not because of anything aside from the fact that I don't want anybody to know what I do for a living.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to know what I do for a living. I don't want anybody to know what my success is, what my failures are. I don't want anybody to know. So my best option for me is to meet somebody organically outside of social media. So I don't even entertain anybody on social media whatsoever. My best option is to be with somebody who I meet organically outside of social media, somebody who's maybe like not on social media at all, or is like just like because there's men, obviously my age range. Like I'm 34, so if I date up, like there's 39-year-old, 40-year-old men that really don't like know how to use shit, you know? Like I remember my dad had a TikTok, and his TikTok was like nothing on his profile, and he would just like watch videos of political shit in Mexico, cars, you know, like just like not like that, you know? Like he wasn't on here. He wasn't on here in that vibe. And I know, again, my uncles, my cousins, even my brother who's 26 doesn't post anything. He's just like to scroll, and he actually doesn't even have TikTok because he says it consumes his time, and he'd rather be reading a book or being more productive with his time, you know? So somebody who's just not on here in that vibe, because I don't want anybody to know what I do for a living, because my goal is not to date a man who wants to be with me for what I've done or what I've accomplished or what I can contribute. That's not what I want.
Yeah.
I want somebody who wants to be a provider, who wants to give me this life, because that's who they are innately as a man, and not somebody who will see me as competition or how they can grow with me, or because I've done X, Y, and Z, and like I'm so accomplished, because I am very fucking accomplished. I have a degree. I have been active duty. I've traveled all over. I've made millions of dollars. I have a social media platform. I've had 3 businesses. Like there's my accomplishments are never ending, you know, like I've done a bajillion things, and you can see them if you really go do a deep dive on my socials, you know? So when I never tell anybody that I have Instagram. I don't tell them I have TikTok. I don't even give my number out, like my actual number, you know, like I don't even give any socials out. Nothing, like, nope, I don't exist on any social media. Like, you don't know anything about me. And I like it that way, because I don't need anybody to try to, like, not necessarily, like, use me, because I don't think that that's the case. But I'm just saying, like, see an opportunity, like, oh, damn, she's done X, Y, and Z. Like, so I want to build with her, because I'm not trying to fucking build with nobody. Like, I want to be taken care of, period. And I want someone who's innately able to do that or wants to do that. I think somebody asked, wouldn't I be hiding that part of myself? That's not real. I'm not hiding anything. I'm protecting myself from somebody who sees me as an advantage in their life to get ahead in some way, shape, or form. When I feel comfortable and when I feel like, we're getting somewhere, and like, then I'll be like, hey, you know what? Like, I want to share with you what I do. But actually, most of the guys that I have talked to post like my marriage have not asked me what I do for a living. Don't even care.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are blue collar workers, like blue collar men. They haven't asked me. Like, oh, what do you do? Or how much money do you make? Or what are your plans? Or what are your goals? And most of them they don't even care. They just want to see me. They want to see me ready, feed me, take me out to eat, take me out for drinks, whatever. Like, they don't even ask.
No, yeah. I feel like that would be, I mean, that's great that you're in that position, right? But
yeah,
for most people, I don't think, I think it'll be a little bit harder, because now it's harder to meet people. And a lot of people do meet through like dating apps. They meet through like Instagram. I met my ex through Instagram, I mean, but I can see where you're coming from, that you don't want them to, because at a certain point you feel like some people are starting to take advantage of you. You know what I mean? Like, and I've been there too. Like, So I remember a girl, she messaged me. She was like, "Hey, like if you buy me this, she's like, I'll hook up with you." And I'm like, "The fuck, like no, like first of all, I don't need to pay for it, like but you know what I mean, like, and then you start realizing like, oh shit, like I feel like people are starting to take advantage of like what I got. So I can see where you're coming from. I just feel like it's gonna be a lot harder for other girls. So if that's the case, where would you recommend some of these girls go to meet somebody?
I think I've talked about this with you in the podcast as well. Sorry, I'm trying to read some of the comments. They said, somebody said these wealthy men don't want women like you. I'm dead. Maybe they don't. Who knows? They want 20-year-olds with no kids. I'm dead. Anyways, yeah, you're right. It really minimizes my ocean to a lake, maybe even a pond, and that's okay. Like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with waiting for whoever God has for me, right? And then in terms of like, what would I say where people could meet people? I feel like anywhere is a possibility. I feel like anywhere you go is a possibility. Like, nothing's off limits, whether it's you run an errand to Home Depot, or you had to go to the Sprouts, or you went to Church's Chicken, or you had lunch with your girlfriends. Like, I feel like you can meet anybody anywhere. At the end of the day, like, if you're going outside, like, at some point there's somebody that you're meant to find, you're going to find, and obviously social media has made it easier to meet people, but at the same time, it's pretty dangerous, I think, because it's like, it's an unlimited amount of options. And I don't think that we were made to have an unlimited amount of options. I think that that's what makes us think that like, oh, okay, well, this is cool, but maybe the next thing is better, and whatever grass is greener over there, like, and it's an unlimited. And same thing with dating apps. It's like I had a dating app once before too, and it's just like next, and before you know it, it's like 10,000 options later, and you're just like, oh, okay, like,
yeah,
that's so unnatural. It's so unnatural to do things like that, and so I think that anywhere is a possibility. Just, I feel like the less you look, the more things find you, the more you attract, the more you radiate that energy, the more people are attracted to coming towards you. I remember when I first started dating, way a long time ago, like, I wanted to date somebody else so bad, right? Like, I was like, I'm so ready to date other people, like meet somebody new, etc. And I was not attracting anything. And I was outside. And the second that I made the decision to be like, hey, I'm not going to try anymore. Like, I'm done. Yeah. I'm done. And I just started vibing and like just being my happy self and like just being in the moment. All of a sudden, left and right.
See,
so I think try.
That's what I tell people is like, just keep doing you. If you don't do anything, pick up some hobbies, go to the gym, do something. Like, staying at home, you're not going to find anybody, but just keep living your life. Don't go and like force yourself to find somebody, because I always tell them, I was like, the more you force yourself to find somebody, the more you're going to find the wrong person. And I've been at fault at that. I found the wrong people, and then I did the same. As soon as you just, what, like, fuck this, I'm done, I'm going to do me. Not only did my business grow, like everything else grew. And then all of a sudden, just like you said, all of a sudden, like, hey, like, do you want to go out? Hey, do you want to go get a drink? Hey, do you want to do this? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? Like, when I was looking for people, like, it was like finding all these people that just like, that weren't for me. But the moment that I stopped looking and just started doing me, is like, it completely changed, and like, I was like, oh shit, like, they're like, oh, we just love that vibe you give. That's why I always tell girls, I was like, just keep growing and glowing, because eventually you'll find the right guy and he'll be attracted to you. You shouldn't have to be chasing the guy. You shouldn't have to be like, how do I get his attention more? Because no, if the guy really likes you, he's going to try to chase you. He's going to try to do whatever it takes to court you. I was like, but you having to do something in order to get his attention, I was like, that's probably not the right guy for you.
Yes. So I agree with you. So when I was first single, I was in that mindset, like, let me like let me see what I can find, like looking per se, like what quote unquote what you would say, like looking, like going to this club, going to this event, going here, going there, like with that mindset, like, oh, maybe today I'll meet somebody, like maybe today I'll meet somebody, maybe today I'll meet somebody. And it's like, I never met anybody, right? And I was never approached, right? And I like had a serious demeanor, like trying to be cute or etc. You know, like, you know, when you see girls out and you see the one girl that's happy and vibing, and then you see the girl that's just, you know, like that. And that was my vibe, like more because I was like looking per se, right? But the second time I was like, fuck this. I am tired of trying to look. I am tired of this. Like, it's not working. Now I'm just genuinely gonna have fun. I don't care about like I'm dripping sweat from my nose or my upper lip or some shit, like from dancing or whatever. Like, I'm just gonna have fun now.
Yeah.
The second that I just started having fun, it's like, and radiating that energy of like just happiness and joy, and just like me enjoying myself and like living, is the second that everything started coming. Like, it just naturally came towards you. So I feel like that's the best way, is just focus on yourself, queen or king. Focus on yourself. Do you. And when the time is right, you're going to attract the right person. And maybe the first person you meet, maybe it's not fully the right person, but you'll learn from it. And then you'll be more okay with like letting that go and saying, okay, well, they fit this, this, and this, but now I'm even more specific. I want this, this, and this. And then just keep living and keep thriving. And then again, you'll attract.
Yeah, it's funny because sometimes I would go to, it's funny when you're talking about going to like a club or something and just dancing. I go, like, I'm that guy that is just out there dancing by himself. And all of a sudden, like, I had like a group of girls dancing around me because like I was just vibing out there. And some people were like, dude, like, what do you do? I was like, bro, I'm just having fun. I'm not that guy on the side of the club just like watching everybody like all mean, all mad, like wondering how come they're not out there dancing. I was like, to be honest, I was like, a lot of these guys want to be me that's in the dance floor, just vibing out, not caring what people think. Like, I suck at dancing, but my ass is out there. Like, I'm out there just grooving and having like a good time, just dancing. All of a sudden, like, some girls like, hey, let's dance with you. Like, hey, can we dance? And like, I'm just like having fun. Would they ever come up to me if like I'm on the side, just standing there, like watching everybody? No, you look like a creep on the side. That's why I always tell guys, like, just go out there and dance by yourself. I do it all the time too. Like who cares? I think that's another thing that a lot of people need to get over, is like actually caring what other people think. You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of people hold on, oh, I can't do that because they're gonna, who's them? Like, why are they gonna think of anything? Like, who cares? At the end of the day, they really don't care about you. Like, to be honest, like, they don't care. Like, you can be out there dancing and having fun, and they'll be like, oh, look at him, he's making a fool of himself. But low-key, they're probably like, oh, shit, like, I wish I had enough confidence to go out there and just, like, have fun, too.
Yeah, I think, too, like, I think as you get, I mean, perspective-wise, do you think that as you've gotten older, being a guy, like, you're just more comfortable in your own skin to be able to do that, you know? Like,
that's true, too. I'm glad you brought that up, because once you get older, you realize how much people don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, they don't care, you know? And then when you're younger, you're too cool to do some of these things. Like, you're too, like, no, that's not cool. Like, that's not going to impress my friends. I did a video not too long ago. It was like, before, when I was younger, I was doing a lot of stuff that I thought was going to impress, like, I'm thinking it's impressing girls, but it wasn't. It was more to impress guys. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, yo, like, I'm talking like this girl. What was that?
To look macho, like to look like
yeah,
not a
like,
bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember at certain points I'll be like, yeah, I was talking to her, I'm talking to her, like trying to be that guy, like trying to impress them. But at the end of the day, like, I was, you know, the person I'm supposed to be impressing is that one girl. You know what I mean? Like, let's focus on them, because out of all those girls, none of them stayed with me, because obviously I was being that guy trying to impress these guys over here. You know, I ended up losing all the girls because I was trying to impress the guys, you know. And who knows, like, one of them could have been a potential, but I was trying to be that guy. That's why I always tell, like, when to date younger, I don't think I would, because a lot of people's mindset is a little bit different. Because I remember when I was younger too, like, I was ready to like, just like hook up, talk to different girls, party, you know, wasn't so interested in being in a relationship. So that's why I'm like, but yes, at a certain point, everything switched. But the guy that you're talking to, did he make that switch? Is he in that mindset? Like, or is he still like out just trying to hook up with you, trying to look cool with his friends and look, I hooked up with this older chick, you know, she's totally into me. And like, say this guy's like 22, 21, you know what I mean? So now it's more of a bragging thing for him and this girl's like, oh, I was taking him serious, but he was just doing it more to brag. Cause that's another thing. A lot of these guys, they want to get with an older girl because not only do they know what they're doing, but it's more of like, dang, I hooked up with her, you know, like she's like 34 and like I hooked up with her and I'm only like 21, you know. It's more of a status thing, you know, more of a let me impress my friends type of situation. That's why I always tell people, I was like, I wouldn't do it, but like if you want to do it, just feel him out, see where he's at, like, you know, because at the end of the day, yeah, maybe you've seen these guys that are a lot younger, they're way more mature for their age, but am I willing to take the risk to find out? Probably not, you know.
I think that you could tell too, just in general, like in conversation, like when you talk to somebody, you can tell where somebody's like headspace is or where they are in emotional maturity, and you can kind of tell. But going back to like you saying like you had more confidence as you're older to actually like be yourself and put yourself on like the dance floor and all these things, like that's dope, because I feel like in that aspect it's like you start to just really just enjoy your life, and whoever is going to appreciate you for you being you is like gonna appreciate you for you being you. And in the midst of that, it's like you're just enjoying your life. Like you're just enjoying just the life that you have. And I feel like the older that you get, the more you have that vibe. I actually talked to somebody who was like maybe, I think it was probably like 40 maybe, and like he was so goofy and like he didn't give a fuck. Like he did like whatever he wanted, like on the dance floor, whatever. And I thought that was super cool, because I was like, damn, like you just don't give a fuck. And it's like, you're just enjoying your life. And like, if somebody vibes with it, cool. And if somebody doesn't vibe with it, then, oh, well, like I'm going to enjoy myself, period, you know? And I really love that, because I feel like a lot of men really like kind of restrict themselves from living, and like you don't really get to see their true colors or their fun side because they're trying to get approval from everyone, you know. So I think that that's really cool that you do that, you know. Just genuine authenticity makes a huge difference.
And it reminds me back when I was like just when I was younger, I was that guy like on the side of the dance floor, like wanting to be out there. Yeah, I was sitting there watching, judging people, being like, oh, like they're too wild or anything like that. They're making a fool of themselves. And now, but in reality, like I wanted to go out there and have some fun and not care, you know. And now I'm at that point. Now I'm just like, man, I wish I would have been this a long time ago. You know, that's why I tell people, stop trying to impress your friends. Stop trying to impress them. Like if you're trying to impress the girl, like she wants to see you happy. She wants to see you like confident. She wants to see you like all these things. She doesn't want to see this on the side of the dance floor, like
Mr. Too Cool.
Exactly. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. Once you start enjoying yourself and you just forget about like this, like, I feel like sometimes we have like this, me too, guilty as charged, this innate desire to be like, I want to date. Like, I want to meet somebody. Like, I am looking like, and I'm like hunting, and I just want this, and I want somebody to do this for me. And like, we have this like desire because we're looking for this, and it's like, we don't really enjoy the moments. We don't, guilty as charged, you know, I've been there. We don't really enjoy the moments or where we're out or what we're doing or who we're with, because we're like, okay, you know, like who's here, you know? And it's like, that's no way to fucking live. Like, just when you start living, I promise you, you start attracting people. You just radiate this different glow, this different energy, and people are like, they see you without you having to be like, where they at, you know? People see you.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's getting kind of, I just want to touch on this before, I mean, I know you have shit to do.
Yeah.
So you've been posting these videos recently, and this is something that I think we touched on it too last time in the podcast, is don't go view your ex's pages. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when people ask me how to get over their ex, the way I did it, you know, I didn't realize at the time that I did it, but now I realize, like, just quick context. Broke up with an ex. when she moved out, she took everything, left me with nothing, right? And
sorry, let me put my phone because my phone's about to die. Give me 1 second.
All right, cool.
Sorry.
Unprepared, Jacky. No, it's joking.
Nah. Here. I was at a baseball game. I told you.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, my mom just brought me my charger.
Oh, there you go.
All right, go ahead.
So, like, she took everything, right? But I didn't realize at the time that actually helped me get over her, right? Because she took everything. Like, I had nothing from her, right? So I always tell people, like, when they're trying to get over their ex, like, you have to completely cut them off. Like, don't, because sometimes, you try to message back, and then you try to, like, you meet up, and then all of a sudden you hook up, and then, and then it's harder to get over that person. The way I do it, the way I've done it, is I block them. I get rid of everything. Like, I don't care what they gave me. Like, if they gave me, like, a wallet, whatever, cool, I sell it, trade it, do whatever with it. Like, I want nothing to do with them. That way I can get over them as quick as possible. And that's why, another reason why I block them, and I also delete their number, so, because I don't want to later on, like, a drunk text or anything like that. I delete their number, so I don't even know what their number is. But you talk about, like, don't go and visit their page, because it's going to do nothing for you. They're going to look for something, and they'll probably find something, and then it's going to be even worse for them.
So I will tell you the premise of that video. So that video was prompted because for some reason, the TikTok algorithm picked up another video that I had posted, like, I think maybe 2 months ago, possibly. And it prompted that idea from this video. So a couple months ago, I did a video. I think it probably has like 1 million views now. And it was saying, don't look at her profile, So don't look at, like, if you got cheated on or something like that, or there was like another woman, or vice versa, if there was, like, if your girl cheated on you and like there was another dude, like, don't look at his profile, because you're doing yourself more harm, because you have their image imprinted in your head. And whether they were uglier than you or whatever the case may be, like not as good looking as you or whatever, no matter what, they still left you for this person. Like, they still betrayed you for this person. So there's no, like, this person is still imprinted in your mind, and they literally live in your head rent free. So what's the point of them living in your head rent free? Like, why allow them that space? So then that's why that video was prompted, because I thought about it and I was like, oh, maybe people need to hear this too. Like, if you had this deep desire to be with somebody and you genuinely cannot be their friend because you have all these feelings and like you just have like this desire to see where the potential is going to go, then you're doing yourself a disservice by visiting their profile, because again, whatever they're doing is ingrained in your mind and you're starting to overanalyze everything, and you're starting to think that even anything is like an indirect thing towards you, and that may not even be the case, but you start to make all these narratives in your head. So that's the premise of that video and where it was prompted. It was because I was like, dude, there's girls out here, there's guys out here that they've been cheated on, and then they go and they look at who they were cheated on with. Did I say that right? Yeah. And like then this person's image is like ingrained in your mind forever. Like, you never forget that shit. I remember still somebody from way back in the day, still engraved in my mind. I don't give a shit anymore, but her face is still here. And it's like, why torture yourself that way? So same goes with like, if you're having a difficult time with a breakup, and this applies only to people who are having a difficult time with a breakup. If you're having a difficult time and you cannot separate two things, don't look. Because the more you look, the more you hurt yourself, and the longer it's going to take you to heal, because you're like obsessing over what they're doing, what they're saying, who they said it to, what time they said it. Like, you're just obsessing and you don't give yourself the space to heal.
Yeah.
So that's
absolutely.
Stemmed from.
Yeah. So like, I agree too. Like, you're not going to find anything. Like, the more you search, you will find something. It's not what you're looking for. Like, you're going to find something. You're going to see a picture of her. You're going to be like, maybe he was here, like, with her on this trip, or like this day, and things like that. You're just going to, that's like a downfall of social media, is just because we can create a fake profile and then go follow this person and just see what like everything they're doing. You know, like
Yeah.
people do it all the time. Like some of these videos that I do, I've had some exes hit me up, be like, "Why'd you talk about that? Like, why'd you talk about that?" It's like, girl, I didn't even say your name. Like, you need to chill out. Second of all, how'd you see my video? Like, if you're blocked, you know, like I don't know why you keeping up, like keeping tabs on me.
Watch it.
And
Yeah, I get what you're saying. How did you even watch it? What?
yeah, like I was, I like a random number too, because some people don't realize that they can go online, and I guess there's this website where you can send like anonymous messages, but it comes up as a phone number, and like they were saying like real specific things. I was like, who the fuck is this? You know, and like then finally I kind of figured out who it was. I was like, who the fuck are you messaging me from? You know, like and things like that. So that's why I always say like, especially guys will always try to keep tabs on
Really?
on
I feel
oh yeah.
I always thought that was more of a girl thing. So that's interesting to hear
No, so
that guys keep tabs. Like I thought that it was always more like I was more talking to my girl community because I feel like girls like I hate to say this about us, but I feel like we like to torture ourselves sometimes. Like we'll fucking read messages and replay scenarios over and over and over. Like I feel like girls do that more than guys, so it's interesting to hear.
Yeah, so we don't do that. Well, for most guys, we'll still follow you. We'll still watch your stories because we want to see who you're talking to. And if it's an ex, I was like, I even tell people, you post a fingernail of another man in your story. Hey, who's that? What are you doing? Like, that's why you like, you know, that's why we didn't work out. You were been talking to who you with, you know, and like all of a sudden they start getting crazy because, or they'll start judging who you're with and be like, oh, I'm so much better than that guy. Who like that guy's not gonna make her happy, you know. And like we start going through this.
I didn't think I did that.
Well, we do that all the time. Like that's why we won't delete you. Yeah, we'll break up, but you see the exes in the stories. Sometimes first ones to see your stories too, like or see your post. They won't like your stuff, or even if they remove you, they won't block you, but they'll still like. All you have to do is type in your name, especially if it's on public, or if you're on private. Guess what? Let me make a fake account. Let me make a fake account and go see what you're doing. You know, like
dude, I literally thought only girls did that. Like I didn't feel that guys. I never thought that guys did that. I felt so. I'm sure everybody appreciates your honesty on here, or all the girls watching, because they're like, oh, so that motherfucker's watching. Because I really never felt that guys did that. I felt like girls are the ones that like obsess, because I feel like it's in our nature to be like obsessive, or like to be like replaying messages or scenarios, like I said, like, or situations. So it's crazy to hear that you guys are chismosos too, like that you guys are like up in the mix. That's interesting. I never thought that. So I learned something new today.
It's an ego thing. Like it's an ego thing because I remember one time too, like I'm guilty of this is why I tell people like I know some of these things because I was that guy. I was that guy putting girls on rosters, ghosting girls, like you name it. I was doing it all. And I was also the guy that was keeping tabs on like this one chick. And as soon as she started dating this one guy, I was like, that's a great value version of me. You know what I mean? Like I'm so much better. You know what I mean? Like I start like raising my ego. Version. Yeah. I was like, he's the great value version of me. Yeah, I was like, he's the Dollar Tree. I'm dead. You know what I mean? So it's like an ego thing, kind of like we want to see who's your next person because we want to, in our head, we want to like hype ourselves up, being like, man, I'm way better than that guy. You know what I mean? Like I'm way better than him. She's downgraded for sure. And then guess what? I'm gonna go to my friends. Hell yeah, she downgraded. She like with this guy over here. You know what I mean? Like guys, we're gonna hype ourselves.
I'm so girls. Are you guys hearing this shit? Like I cannot believe it. I had no idea that you guys did this shit. I thought that was girls.
No, we keep tabs. We keep tabs because you see. Yeah, like I mean, some of these girls are gonna be able to relate. Like, they can go out and post, like, say you go out and get drinks, right? Like, recently broke up 2-3 weeks, maybe even longer, right? It could be years, too. You post 2 drinks, and that's it. The guy's instantly going to be like, who the fuck is she with? Like, you know, who's she on a date with? Like, who is it? And then you start, like, start searching. I remember this guy, he was, like, going through her likes and then going to, like, a guy's profile to see if they were liking or commenting stuff. And, like, he was trying to hard to figure out who this guy was. I was like, bro, chill out. Like, who knows? Like, what if
I literally, you taught me something today, because I had no idea that guys did that. I had no idea that guys did that at all, or that they like snooped like that. I thought that that was a girl thing. So that's interesting that it's like people want to say that we're so different, but I think that now, like hearing these things, is like maybe we're more alike than we think.
Yeah,
maybe we have the same type of feelings. We just communicate them differently, I guess.
Yeah, because I think ours is more of a like an ego thing. Because like we want to feel like you downgraded. We want to feel like you're not going to be as happy as I made you. You know, like nobody's going to make you as happy as I made you. You know, like we want to hype up our ego. So we're going to keep tabs. Because I remember at that time I was like watching her stories and like the same thing happened. I saw her like with drinks. I was like, who the fuck is she with? You know, like who is that? Like who's she with? Like who's she with? Like it's not me. And then finally she posted it and I'm like, that's a great value version of me. I was like, she totally downgraded, you know, and like I'm hyping myself up, you know, like I'd even, of course your friends are going to hype you up too. Be like, look who she's talking to. Man, that dude's a scrub, you know what I mean? Like she totally downgraded, you know what I mean? Like then your friends are hyping you up and now you're...
I'm just picturing a bunch of guys like in a group chat talking shit, like sending gifts the way that girls do. Like I'm dead. I cannot picture a guy having a group chat with his homies, like, oh, look at this fucking guy, and like sending gifts about him. He looks like fucking Hunchback of Notre Dame or some shit. Like,
yeah, oh yeah, we do the same things. I'm
dead.
And because I've seen it before too. Like with some people I know, like they'll post something, and this one dude, like one time, they posted my hand on act. Well, it wasn't even my hand. It was like the finger. Because I know this girl, and like we were at the bar, but we weren't together, right? I was ordering a drink. She was ordering a drink. She was right next to me. She took a story of her, what's it called? Her drinks.
Yeah.
And like, you could see like my fingernails and obviously you can tell it's a man's hand. Her ex started messaging me like, who are you with? Like, what are you doing out? And she's all showing me. I'm like, dude, this dude needs to chill out. I was like, nobody can be next to this girl. Cause like, the ex is going to get mad. So trust me, we keep tabs. We want to see. And, especially some of these questions that I get, some people are like, oh, like even 10 years later, my ex is still sending me messages saying that he misses me and so on and so forth. I'm like, girl, like he's gonna try to come, like, again, I'm at fault for this. I remember when I broke up with my ex, a few years went by. And then for some reason I had this like itch. Like I was like, damn, I miss hooking up with her. Not miss her. I was like, I miss hooking up with her. And I was like, maybe I can call her and like she'll want to hook up, you know, like kind of like weasel my way back in there and then like hook up and then that's it. I was like, so exes get that itch, like to kind of, hey, like what are you doing? You know, like I kind of miss that hooking up part, you know. And they're not going to tell you that exactly, but they always get that itch. That's why like some of these girls tell me 10 years. There was a girl who told me like 20 years and her ex doesn't leave her alone. I was like, that's the type of ex you need to like completely cut off. If they message you, don't respond. Like let them know that, hey, like we're done. Like, because they're going to try to ruin relationships too later on, you know.
That's so crazy. I had never, like I said, this is new news to me. So now I'm just going to think that everybody I ever talked to is watching my whole life.
Oh, they're keeping tabs on you for
I'm like, no, sure. I'm just like, oh, wow, I'm so flattered because I never thought that guys did that. So that's hella funny, dude.
For sure. Like if you get a message later on,
I never thought guys did that. So I think that that's a funny, like now I'm like back in 1999.
Imagine you get an ex that texts
tabs, Mr. 1999.
He messages you, hey, like, why were you doing a live with that guy? Like, what were you guys doing? Like,
dead. Nah, nobody keep that.
No,
yeah,
people
keep like, tabs. That's funny. Dude, yeah, so, I had no idea that men did that, to be honest with you. So that's interesting.
We're the same. Like, we do the same, similar things. But similar things, the intentions might be different because you said that you guys replay scenarios and stuff like that. I really never did that. To me, it was more like, who are you talking to next? Am I better than this guy? And if he's not, I'm going to hype myself up like crazy. I'm going to build my ego up, kind of like, wow, you downgraded for like full show.
I think that girls, at least from my experience, I don't have a lot of experience because, again, I was married for so long. But I think in my experience, I think that people look, or from before I was married and like when I had boyfriends and stuff or dated before, like I think that we look because we're like, are they happier without me? Like it's more like that vibe, like or like what was so wrong about me, and like trying to compare ourselves to like who's next. Like, well, what did I have? Or like it's like a more of an emotional thing, I think, for girls, you know, like more of a lot of emotion behind it, like a lot of emotion behind like why we look, or why like oh damn, he looks like he's just living his best life without me, or like I think it's more emotional, if anything, than as opposed to you guys. It's more like competitive, like ego based.
Oh,
And
we need to feed our ego.
It's more like emotional, like dang, it only took him 5 days and he's at a club. It only took him 2 weeks and he's posting millions of happy pictures, or he's traveling to fucking, I don't know, Mexico or some shit. I don't know, like, just like, I think it's more of an emotional thing. Like, damn, like, we take it to heart, I think, more so than anything. And you guys, it's more ego. So that's interesting.
Yeah, ego.
No
idea.
Yeah,
but yes, guys
do have an ex. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I'm like, I do have an ex that I dated in 2010, I think. He lives in Texas. He's from Houston, Texas. And he still keeps up with me. And he's still like, and he's he's always been respectful. So when I was married, he never messaged me or anything. But the second he found out that I was divorced, he messaged me. Or going through a divorce, he messaged me. I never expected to hear from him 10 years later.
Keeping tabs.
He messaged me and he told me like, hey, like, I would love to see you. I never forgot about you, like X, Y, and Z. Like, I've dated girls, but none of those girls have ever, like, I've always had you in the back of my mind, like, as like mine, like that's who I would want to be with. And I was like, dude, I don't even think about you that way. Like, I don't even see you like that, like, I don't even, like, it's not even a thing. Like, I was married for so long that to me was like, you were non-existent. And he's like, well, for me, it's like I dated girls and I had like long-term, I think he had like 2 long-term relationships, maybe like 3 years and like a 4-year relationship. And he said, and even in all that time, he said, my last girl found my memory box that I had of you. He's like, and she was fucking furious. And we broke up because of that, because I refused to throw it out. I was like, shut the fuck up, dude. And
damn.
Still, yeah. And that was like hella years later, and no communication because I was married. He never crossed the line. He never tried to message me when I was married or anything like that, ever. Never. I didn't even know what he was doing with his life. And then I think he like saw my social media or saw that I was like going through a divorce or whatever. I think he might have seen me here on TikTok. I don't remember, but then he hit me up and I was like, what the? That's crazy.
I'm telling you, we keep tabs, even though like it's like a long time, right? Like, well, we're always watching. We're always watching to see if we can, because look, as soon as you're like going through the divorce, hey, how are you doing? Like, what's up, girl? Like, he's trying to get a chance before you move on to the next guy. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I think so. But yeah, it was crazy because I think I had totally forgot about that. But yeah, because again, to me, it was like, okay, well, I mean, like, you're from 2010, so that's where you stay, in 2010. In Houston,
no
Texas,
expiration date. It's like for guys, there's no expiration date. There's like some of these guys, 10, 20 years, they'll still message their ex, like still try to be involved with them somehow. Like, we keep tabs. We always make sure. That's why another reason why I don't want to keep tabs on nobody. I don't want to know what they're doing. Like, of course, sometimes they do pop into your head, like especially the long-term ones. Yeah, it happens from time to time. Like, something will remind me. I'm like, oh, fuck that. Like, stop thinking that. Like, but do I go to the extent of reaching out to them? No. Like, but some guys do. Some guys will start thinking about those memories. Because everyone remembers those good times, like we went here, we did this, and like you start remembering some of those things, and then you kind of want to, you start missing them a little bit, and you want to message them, and that's when a random, hey, like your ex kind of messaged you out of nowhere. You're just like, what the fuck is going on here,
Wait, so if you were ever ghosted, do you harp on that? Like, do you like if somebody ghosted you, and you have no idea why? And like your last conversation was good and all of a sudden they stop responding or stop telling you stuff. Like, do you like think about that repeatedly? Like, does it sit in your mind? Like, do you think that you would think about it in a year, 2 years, 3 years? Like, why did she fucking ghost me?
It did. One time I did get ghosted and I was like, what the like me, I got offended. My ego was like hurt. I was like, you're going to ghost me? Like me,
Yeah.
like you're gonna ghost me, and like so I tried figuring out why she ghosted me, but comes to find out that she ended up she was talking to multiple people, I guess, who knows, and she ended up going with this person,
Oh, and
and
then
then she like
nobody's gonna talk to you.
yeah, so she completely cut me off. The one that actually hit me the hardest, where I was like, what the fuck? Like, what really is when I was a rebound. That one was like, what the fuck? Like me, a rebound? Like, how can I be I can't be a rebound. But I was the rebound, and it took me a while to accept the fact that I was the rebound, because everything was like, everything was going great. Like we were vibing, everything was going great. We're taking trips, we're doing this. And then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, everything just changed, and I was like, what the fuck happened? Like, what did I do? Like, what did I do? And then she's like, I, wasn't really feeling it, you know what I mean? And I was like, not feeling me. But then it's funny because I joke around because I was like, she ended up going back with her ex, and they're doing horrible. So I was like, you could have had all this, but you messed it up.
Damn, hella ego. You're right. It's definitely hella ego for men. Definitely. Yeah. I think it'd probably be harder for you guys to have an ego. Somebody commented saying that they pretend they're dead. And somebody responded, said, me too. I have a whole grieving process and everything.
Damn. Yeah. What about you? Have you ever been ghosted?
No.
No?
No, I've never been ghosted, but I have ghosted somebody one time. But I've never been ghosted. I have ghosted somebody one time. And honestly, it killed me too. Because like I wanted to say my piece. I wanted to say like some things too, but it was pointless for me to say. Like I'm not going to gain anything, and I'm not going to get anywhere by saying something. So I was just like, this is it. Like, I'm not responding anymore, and that's it. And I just stopped. I just stopped responding. And it killed me for a long time. Like, it really did bother me for a long time, because I was like, it's like you're holding on to the unsaid things, But at the same time, it's like sometimes when you say those unsaid things, you feel like shit too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I don't know, but I always said I would never ghost anyone, because I would never want to feel that, and thank God I've never had to feel it. But now I'm like, fuck, now I'm a fucking open book to be ghosted because I did it, and it's like, damn, now I'm gonna get my fucking payback too. Like, oh, remember when you did this? Well, come back to you, and it's like, damn, So I'm like, I'm anxious for that, because I don't want that to happen to me, but.
Hopefully it doesn't happen to you.
I hope not. But the reason I ghosted was for good reason. It's because I was lied to. And it was either like call you out on the lie, or just stop talking to you at all. Like, stop entertaining your conversation. It's like not even give you the room to explain, because there was nothing to explain. It was like a bold-faced lie, Yeah. So there was like nothing to explain. So it's like I got my answer without needing you to say it, And it's like, okay, well, then I should not say anything at all, I don't know.
I think it's easier for guys to ghost girls, because it's similar to like when it's not a big deal for us, or for most guys, to introduce you to our parents, to introduce you to our friends. Like, we'll do it, and then we'll ghost you like the following day, like that's fine with us, so that's why it's so much easier for us. But the reason, like we talked about earlier, is because we just don't want to have those conversations. Like, we don't want, like what you wanted to tell them. I don't want to tell this girl that I just want to hook up with her and that's it. Like, I don't want to tell her that, I'd rather just hook up with her and then just be like, all right, cool. Like, I'm out. Like, I'm
But you don't think your body language tells that? Like, I feel like guys actions speak louder than words. So if they're showing you a certain thing, like, and I feel like your actions will tell me, like, oh man, you just wanted this. They will,
But there's also those guys that will do anything and everything in the beginning.
Oh, right? To mask it.
Exactly. But that's why I said, I was like, you have to wait. Like, make this guy take you out a few times. Like, prolong it before you hook up with him, because if he's willing to wait, then he's wants to get to know you. He wants to talk to you. If you go 2 weeks, if you go a week and you hook up with him and then he's gone, well, shit, it only took him a week to get you. Like, it didn't take very long. But we'll be like, oh yeah, we're gonna be together forever. Here's some flowers. Here's some coffee. Let's go. Like, let's do this until we get what we want. As soon as we get what we want, we're out. But if it's taking too long to get what we want, we're out. Like, you'll see us like, this is taking way too much time. Like, this is taking way too much effort. So I'm just, on to the next. So then you'll see like our communication completely change. Like, cause now we're trying to focus that same energy onto somebody else, and we're not talking to you the same. And they're like, well, what's going on now? Like, well, what happened? Like, what did I do? It's not, you didn't give it up. And like, so we went over here, and the reason I know that is because I did that. I was no saint. Like, I was not perfect. I don't do that anymore, but that was one of the reasons. Like, all right, let me master this. Let me present this perfect thing right here for you, and you're gonna love me for it. It's gonna seem like I'm the perfect guy. Like, oh, he's so sweet. He pays attention to all this stuff. And then we hook up, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm out. Like, this is, I'm good.
Okay, so give us some hope here. Being your age, do you think that, like, let's say your friend group or people that are like your age range, do you think that you guys in your age range or like out of your friends, like what percentage of you guys are like legit now, like not on some bullshit no more, like not like?
For the most part, the people around my age already a family, married, or something along those lines. So
you're like, also in fucking bumfuck Egypt, so there ain't shit there but to have a fucking family. So that's another thing.
That's true. That could be my reasoning for long distance, but it just depends on the person, because there's guys who are like 40, 50-year-olds that
they want to know your age.
I'm 34. I'm just same as Jacky. 34. But it totally depends on the person too. Like when they are ready to get out of their BS. I always tell people, if a guy has way too much time, he's probably up to no good. Because when I had a lot of time on my hands, I was up to no good. I was all over the streets, right? When the moment like I got focused like on my businesses and things that I had to do and like to grow and build, I barely have enough time to go on dates. Like, so like
that's another thing I was thinking about too recently. Yeah,
like how they utilize their time. Like, are they? Of course, like you would want them to make time and stuff for you too. But like, are they just always not doing anything? Hey, what are you doing? Nothing. Hey, what are you doing? Nothing. Like, what the fuck? Do you even work? Do you do anything? Like, what do you do? So that's a red flag to me for some guys, because I was like, they have a lot of time to do a lot of things, message a lot of people, like talk to a lot of people, meet up with a lot of people. Because when I was working a 9 to 5, it was like more of a 6 to 2, but like I had a whole evening. I would go work out real quick, and then all of a sudden like jump on the phone, like, who's trying to meet up today? Oh, her, like she says she can meet up. All right, I'm over here. After that, like this girl's trying to meet up. All right, I'm over here. Like on the weekend. So their time has a big thing to do with it. Like, they have a lot of time. So like now when I'm super busy, now I'm like, all right, who am I going to invest my time into? Right. Like, that's why, like, I need to know who I'm talking to, like where you're at in life. Because I was like, if I'm going to invest time into you, that obviously we know we never get time back. Like, I want it to be worth it. And if it's not worth it, then I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. I'm just going to keep doing me, But there is hope. There's, you know what I mean? Like, it just depends on the guy. Cause I can tell you, be like, oh, all 30-year-olds are amazing. But no, like, you run into this guy and he's like still in his party phase. Like, bro, like all these dudes are like 21 and you're like 30. What are you doing, bro? Like, like, go home.
Like, why are you out here? I mean, I can't say that because I go out a lot and I have like a lot of fun. And I go out a lot. Different. My cousin's like my fucking partner in crime, and he's my age too. And like, we fucking vibe. We have a blast.
Yeah, but you're not out there with like 21-year-olds.
Oh, no. That's also true. That's very true. And if I am, it's because they're family or like close friends, like been like friends for a long time. So yeah, we're not out just like with some like random like 20-year-olds. No.
Yeah.
Not doing that. But yeah, I will say like, it's very questionable, even age, because even my dad, rest his soul, like he was 50 something, and he was still on some bullshit. Like sometimes I would be like, the fuck are you saying? Like, the fuck are you doing? I remember I went to his rancho and his wife was like serving his plate, cleaning the kitchen, and I'm like, and he's just sitting down on the couch, and I'm like, the fuck, get up, like put your fucking plate in the sink, like what are you doing? He's like, oh, see, this is why I didn't want you to come here, because you're just gonna put ideas in your head and all this shit. And I was like, I was like, you know, at home I'd be making him make me caldo de pollo, like, and he'd be cutting up all the fucking vegetables and everything, like, he's more than capable, you know. So I feel like it just depends on the person, actually. But I wanted to ask you, just in terms of like age range, like what do you notice in your age ranges, you know? Like, what do you notice in their behaviors and things like that? Because for sure, I see the younger generations. I go to college and I'm around a lot of like younger kids, because it's obviously most of them are younger. And like when they communicate or they say things, I'm like, it's worse than when I was in my 20s, you know? I'm like, oh my gosh, like what the... You know, like their dating lives and little situations. And especially we talk about these things because I'm in communications classes. So it's has to do with like a lot of interactions and things. And I'm just like, the situationships, the not clarity, it's crazy. But I thought you know, my age range is a little bit better, at least.
It is. That's why, like you said, you don't date too young. And me, I don't date too young. Again, it comes down to communicating, like how that person is, but probably not. You know, you'd have to be closer to my age, just because I also want to be able to feel like you've experienced life and want to experience life. Usually, you have a conversation with a 21-year-old. Their conversation is really short, really boring, really like immature, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, it feels like you're talking to a kid. You know, like
somebody said, I'm 32 and I'm tired. They're tired. They're tired. That's what I said. I'm tired too. That's why I'm like, nah, I just want to go outside, have a good time. And when God says the time is right and that he has a person for me, he's going to show up. That's it. Like, I am tired. I don't want to talk, entertain. I'm too busy. Like, I barely have time to take a nap. And sometimes I would rather take a nap.
and that's why I tell people just to wait. Like me, I'm not out here searching for somebody. I'm not like, oh, like, let me go find somebody. I'm just doing me. I said it just like you. I'm just going to keep doing me. If I find somebody along the way, you know, hopefully I do find somebody along the way, then awesome, let's do it. But I'm not going to be out here searching like I was before, because when I was searching, I wasn't finding shit. Like, yeah, I was finding girls, but not girls that I wanted to be with, build a future with, be with like long term. So I think that's the best advice for just anybody, like, is just keep doing you, and then hopefully eventually you'll find somebody down the road. Because it's really hard when they're like, oh, would you date somebody who's older? Well, yeah, like if I vibe with them, like, cool, that's cool with me too. My ex, the one I was with for the longest, she was like 2 years, almost 3 years older than me. Like it didn't matter to me. I've also dated younger girls, but like, you just never know. Like, is she going to come and she's going to be younger than me? Who knows? Older than me? Who knows? You know, like, I mean, you're not going to see me with like, like an old lady, like that. Like, you know, this guy's going after a check or something like that.
Yeah, you don't have a definitive answer because it just depends on the vibe. And I think the more you focus on the vibe and like how well you guys mesh as people, it's so much better when you focus on that rather than like trying to force something or focus on how old they are or whatever. Like if you meet somebody and you just connect and like it just works or whatever, like go with the flow. Go with the flow. Somebody said, go to church. I'm like, yeah, well, there's people that even in church is questionable too. Like,
well, I remember when I was going to church too. Like, I wasn't going there for like at that time. I wasn't going there like to see, to say some sort of prayer or anything. I was seeing there like what girls are showing up. You know, like that's what I was there for at that time. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why I said like you never know what somebody's intentions are. Because they could be a lot older. I mean, this didn't happen recently. Don't think that I'm posted up in a church right now, like scoping it out. But
like,
it's like, what's this? It's like you haven't been here in a while. What are you doing here?
Watching whoever. I don't know if you're Catholic. I'm not Catholic, but I know like people who are Catholic. They kneel down and after they do the thing, the Eucharist, I think, and then they do confession or whatever, and they like, who kneel down, who has the most sins and shit.
Yeah, see, I spend plenty of time in churches right now because like one part of my business is like we also have like the weddings and quinces, and we do stuff like that too. So we go to the like Catholic churches and stuff like that too. So, which also sucks too because like I remember I went to this one quinceañera. And the quince was like trying to flirt with me. I was like, you need to chill out. I was like, you are like 15 years old. Like, I am 34. This is not happening. Like, I felt awkward. I had to call somebody to come and like take my spot because I was like, I'm not really feeling this vibe. I'm about to catch a case here. Like, they're going to be like, yo, this dude's flirting with her. I was like trying to avoid. So it's getting to that point too here, which I'm not trying to sound cocky, but like a lot of people are knowing who I am. And like, there was an event that happened the other day, and the quinceañera got mad. I wasn't there. I sent my guys over there, and they were upset that I wasn't. They were like, "We thought you were going to be here." I was like, "Well, I was doing something else." Like, like
like you're working. Yeah, other things going on, and you're working.
So yeah, it's getting to that point, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But for now, like people keep asking me, "Are you looking for somebody?" Like, I'm just going with the flow, like kind of like you said earlier.
I know.
Like,
I see here. When you post on your story, I think you do like, I don't know how you do that, but where like people anonymously send you messages, right? And like you post them on your story, and I see like some of the responses that people send you. Obviously they're from girls, or like some of the responses that people send you like anonymously. And I'm like, damn, like can people just live? Like, sheesh, like
some people are wild, and there's ones that I don't even answer. Like right now I'm going to do a different video series. Like I'm asking people's like weird fetishes and kinks because everyone's different. Like I've learned after doing like TikTok, I'm like, damn, you guys are some weird people. Like
there's somebody for everybody.
Yeah, and like there's, I mean, I'll tell you, I don't really want to say some of the things that were on there, but I was like, damn, you guys are fucking wild. Like there's some things that I thought I was, a little spicy in the bedroom, but after reading some of these things, I'm like, I feel like I'm a novice. Like I'm not very experienced after reading some of these things.
You're a newbie. You're like, hey.
Yeah, I'm all thinking, I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I got this. And then like I start reading some of these. I'm like, I don't got this. Like no, this is a no for me. Like
honestly, that's why I love having social media too, because I feel like a lot of people tell me a lot of their shit too, and I'm like, I just be at my desk, like, with my cafecito. I'm like, God damn, really? Like, no, like, I just be, and it's not my life. So to me, I'm like, tell me more. Tell me more. And people really trust you and tell you, like, I don't need to make those anonymous things for people to tell me, because people will tell me. People will even send me private DMs and tell me, like, girl, guess what? Like, da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, shut the front door. I have, like, my own chisme channel on my own.
It's like, funny because people... You bring that up because the same exact thing happened. Like it doesn't even matter anymore. Like people don't care to be anonymous. Like so a lot of the questions I answer to are not even anonymous. They're just like screenshotted from my DMs because some people found my email and they're sending me emails now. Like I'm like, what the fuck? Like you guys are wild. Like I had some lady like Instagram call me like 50 times. I was like, what the fuck? This lady is crazy. Like trying to like just talk to me to figure out her situation. I'm like, first of all, I'm not like a therapist or anything like that. Like I'm just gonna be like, leave that man, like, and move on to the next, like. But yeah, some people are wild on here, and I think the only one I get flack for is I don't know if you saw that one, was when I was cutting the girl because she asked me to cut her.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah, so that was the thing. Like for her, she liked to get cut on her inner thigh. And at first, I was
really scared.
I was really hesitant. Like she was like, "Oh, I really like it when you cut me. Like if you cut me right here." And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? I'll cut you?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I didn't do it at that first time because I was like, "That's crazy," And the next time she's like, "I really want you to do that." And so, like the next time, I was freaking out because in my head, I'm like, "This girl is gonna call the cops, say that I
catch a case."
Her. I was like, try to stab her, like I was like panicking over that. I was like, this is it. You're going to see me on the news tomorrow. My parents are going to hate me. They're going to be, what the fuck were you doing? But as soon as I did it, she turned into a complete freak. And I was like, what the fuck? You know, like, what is going on here? You know?
Oh my God, I'm really, really scared. I can't.
That was the only like questionable thing that I've ever done. I've never done anything more than that. Like anything like after that,
like too crazy. Yeah.
She's like, we wanna be together. Like I want to be together with you. We have to do a blood oath. We have to cut each other. I was like, girl, you are fucking crazy. Okay, I did the whole cutting thing, but no, like.
Like drink each other's blood. Oh no.
No, she did. She wanted also to drink each other's blood, and I was like, girl, you're like a little too crazy. I was like, that's a little. Again, I'm a novice now. Like I felt like I was up here, but I'm like, I'm right back here. Like I'll stay right here.
Oh, dude, I can't. Yeah, no, that's too much for me. Yeah. No, I would tell everybody. I'm like really quick to tell everybody like, run, bitch. And that would be like, all right, bye. I'm
it's
out.
Funny people are like, you didn't get red flags.
Knock yourself out. Here you go.
They were like, that's red flags right there. I was like, yeah, at the time it was red flags that I completely didn't see because, like, obviously, like, hooking up with her was, like, really dope because, like, she did a lot of freaky shit. And so I really enjoyed it. And she knew what she was doing. But so that the red flags were, like, kind of yellowish, greenish. So you couldn't really pay attention to them at that time. And now I look back, I'm like, bro, like, she was doing this. That's crazy. That's a red flag. That's a red flag. Red flag here.
Dude, I'm like, that's a no for me, love. That's a no for me, love. I'm out.
That's a hard pass. But anyways,
out. That's a no for me. That's crazy.
See, like, I always get shit. That sounds demonic. I was like, whoa, shit. Like, don't blame. Like, I don't know what I was thinking at the time. Okay, like
you were going with the flow. I was
going with the flow. Like,
hey, somebody said he's gonna call her tomorrow now.
Hey, what are you doing?
He's like, hey, do you need your thigh cut? No,
there's actually
you need a new gash.
There's actually a part 2 to that, but I'm not going to say that on the live. I'll tell you later on. I can tell you.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I'm like, honestly, I'm really, really scared, so I don't think I need to know any further than that.
It's nothing bad. You're just like, oh fuck, man, you fucked up. I was like, I know, but
like, hey, you need a Band-Aid for that? You good? You good, girl?
See, now I'm getting a bunch of shit. See, like every time I talk about this, I get thrown up like, oh, it was your fault. Like, you need a therapist. You need to, like, we get, there's certain times in our life that things just become blurry. You know what I mean? Like, common sense just goes out the window, you know? And, like, you don't see these red flags because you're going with the flow. So that's why, like, sometimes you're in a shitty situation and you don't even realize you're in a shitty situation until it's too, like, after you get out of it. And you're like, because now I look back and I'm like, yeah, never again, never cutting a girl ever again. That shit was weird.
That's true. Sometimes you really don't, like, until you're, like, outside the box and you, like, analyze things, that's when, and then you're like, oh, damn, like, that was a little bit not in my realm or not something that I would, like, normally want to do, you know? Like, I don't know. I would be really, really scared.
Yeah.
And somebody said, but was she hot?
Oh, she, like, damn.
A smoke show.
That's why, like, everything started getting blurry because she's fucking hot. Like, she had a lot of things that I liked about her. She's a freak. And then as soon as I started doing that, she turned into an even more freak. And, like, me, I always so, like, I'm always the dominant one. She started becoming like, hey, like, grab me. And, like, she would, like, start doing things to me. I was like, oh, shit, like, what's up? Like, because it feels different when it gets flipped on you. You know?
Yeah.
I'm usually.
Did you ever see that guy here on TikTok? I don't know how long ago it was his story, but his story went really viral and like hella people tagged me in it. But this guy was like saying that he went to a bar and he met a chick, and the chick like picked him up from the legs and like ate his butt, you know? Like, and he's like, I didn't know what was going on at that point. And the way that he tells the story is so animated. And he's like, I don't know how she had me, but she was like this little and she like grabbed my legs and before I knew it, she was like in there and she was like eating his ass. I guess it was like his first time that ever happened to him. That shit had me dead because he's like, he didn't know what hit him. He was just like, oh shit, you know, like what is going on?
Yeah, it's sometimes.
I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it went viral here on TikTok. It was so funny.
No, I'm actually gonna have to look that up because it reminds me of. Have you ever gone through and read some of the funny Amazon reviews?
No, never.
Like, some of these are like fucking wild, and it reminded me of that because there was one about like a flaming asshole and stuff like that. So that's why I was like, Oh shit! It sounds like an Amazon.
That shit had me dead. It was all over TikTok, and he was so animated. He said like, he went to a bar, he met this girl, they were vibing, and it was cool and all this shit, and like they went back, and then he's like, and somehow I ended up like this, and I never knew I liked that, and I was dying. I was dying. But yeah, it's wild. People are wild. You gotta be safe.
See, and that's what happened. Like things become blurry. She was hot. She was a freak. Things became blurry. She asked me to do that, and I was like, yeah, sure. Like after the second time, and then all of a sudden, now I look back at it and I'm like, bro, like what was wrong with you? Like, were you okay then? Like, are you okay now? Like, you doing good? Like, I had to question myself too.
It happens. I feel it.
But anyways, I'll let you go. We've been on here for a while, but thank you for jumping on live with me and then chatting with me. That way we can.
Yeah, thank you guys. For whoever joined, I don't know what's on your side, but for whoever joined, like I said, I felt really terrible about the audio in the podcast. And I felt really terrible. Like when I saw the clips, I was like, damn, like that sucks. Like it was my first time being on a guest on somebody's podcast, and I felt terrible for the delivery of it. And like, if I would have just wanted it to be a lot better than that, being that it was like my first time actually being interviewed and somebody asking questions from the outside, you know? And we tried to do it again today. And like, again, I had actually got a mic and it just didn't work. And I was like, you know what? Like, I feel bad. So let's just do a live and like answer some of the questions and kind of set that tone. So I feel bad. I hope to be on other podcasts and things flow more smoothly. And I apologize for the first experience or listening experience being like super distorted in some parts.
No, it's fine. It's great content in there. People loved it too. So at the end of the day, it's technology and it's not perfect. So
yeah.
But anyways, well, thank you. I'll let you go. It was fun. So I'll talk to you later. All right. See you guys.
Peace out. Bye guys.